guys, Merciless bringing you a tutorial on how to build a working clock. And so I have it right here. As you saw before, it moved around 2 times for the day and night. And basically, it works basically like your golden clock, where it tells you day or night, like when is it about to hit day, when is it about to hit night, and stuff like that. But it's really not. See, it'll change to 12, and then so it's really not that useful because you have other things that tell time, but it's pretty cool because if you build a city and you want a clock, you don't want it just to save some random time. You want it to actually be a changing clock, like this one. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So let's get started. So the first part to this is to have the clock work on command. So I'm going to build another clock. I'm just going to build it facing this way this time. And I'll try to even it out so I can make like a cool building out of it or something. So it's going to be 11. Looks like it's a little off center. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. It's going to be 11 by 11, and then here, I'll just build the white pane. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then it's basically if I built the clock face once I've done this. You want it to be a square so it looks a little nicer. And then you want it, here I'll explain it once I get there. And then you want the center. Oh, it's shifted up one. Crap, I did it wrong. There we go. Alright? Still looks weird. I'll go check it out. It's 4. Actually, I know the problem, I think. And then I'm just going to fill it in. And then the next part's going to be the block swapper. So if you haven't seen my previous video on block swapping for glowstone at night, go check it out, but I'll also show you here because it's a little different here. So basically, I'm going to mark where I want it to swap, the blocks that I want it to swap. It's going to have 4 for each time of the day because I'm only doing 4 times. I can't do diagonal. You need a bigger clock to do that because you see how much room it takes up per block. Okay, so you're going to build a block swapper. I'm going to build one and then skip to the rest. So you're going to need sticky piston. I already have sticky piston, but anyway, sticky pistons, torches, and actually you're going to need a button also later on. And then that should be, and then you're going to need the 2 blocks you want to swap, which are, for me, it's going to be the chiseled quartz and the block of coal. Block of coal could be questionable because lightning, but we're just going to go with it for now. And we're just going to make each one of them say, we're just going to make it where it's not saying any time for now. no, that's too far. And then, so this piston's going to switch the blocks basically, while other pistons will switch them basically. Like they'll switch, it will activate to push it back out into the surface, I guess you could call it. So I'm just going to show you one, and then I'll skip ahead and do all the others because I don't want you to watch me 4 times. So you're going to pick the block that you want. Mine's going to be quartz and then you're going to want a piston and another piston like that. So like 1 block away. Then you're going to put the other block you want. Either side doesn't matter, but you don't want both. And then I'm just going to use a building block. And then build a structure like this. So a torch can be placed there. Where's the... Oh. I think it never changed. Anyway, there it goes, it changed. Okay, so you saw how it changed. It pushed them back in with the sticky piston, and then it pushed it over, and then pushed the other block out. So the same thing's going to happen here. We're going to put redstone repeaters here and here. But you're going to activate that block, and that block, because redstone repeaters can go through blocks. And we're going to put a torch there, and there. And then, this is the important part, you don't want to put the redstone on the same block, on the same level, you want to put it one below. Because if you put it in the same block, it'll activate, because the redstone torch is activated, it'll activate going that way, and you don't want that to happen. So, you put on this, so it's only working one way. And then, oh, almost forgot one part. Redstone dust there. And then, see how it works? It retracts, and then these push, and then it goes back out. So I'm going to skip ahead and build the rest, and then I'll come back. Okay, we're back now, and I have it all set up. My 4 buttons for my clock, and right now, oh, also another part, you need to put the minute hand on 12, so it's the hour by hour. And then, so there you go. That's basically the clock face. So since it's 12 o'clock right now, we want to send a command, which will be discussed later. Command will be to change to 12, which is not necessary, but it's helpful so it's not as disorganized. And then change the 3 o'clock. And it'll change to 3 o'clock. And then once it hits dawn break or whatever, or dusk, same difference. You want it to change to 6 o'clock, you command 3 to change back. And that's not 3, is it? No, I'm getting it backwards. Just so you know, it's opposite. Like you want to go counterclockwise. You want to change 6, and you want to change 3. So now it changed to 6. And then, now you want to change it to 9. You hit boom to command 6 to change back, and you command 9 to change to black. And then switch back to 12. You hit 9 again, and then you hit 12. So that says 12. So the same thing's going to happen, but it's going to be on a timer, which like this thing is the daylight sensor. Redstone timer to activate these instead of buttons, because you're not going to sit there and press them all each day. You want a timer. And so I'm going to show you in the next part, and let's get started. So you're going to want a lot of redstone room, because this thing's going to take up a lot of room. Don't get freaked out. It's not as hard as it looks. It's just the only hard part is the command section, which is the 3rd section. Second section is the timing. So these are very simple, just a lot of resources, so it'd be hard to build survival. But let's just say this row is 40 redstone repeaters. Each of the long rows are 40 redstone. Those are 32 redstone, and the medium ones are 36. The reason I put it like this just because I was organizing in my head. It was only this, it was simple this way, but you could just build one long row. But I think one problem with that is that if the chunk's not loaded, I don't think redstone works. Like it won't work, activate or whatever. So you want it to keep it in one, like you don't want it to be in like 30 different chunks going down all the way down in the tunnel. So you're gonna need a lot of room. And I think this is about it's 40 that way, and I think it's about probably 100 that way. But when I was overthinking it, and some of this is not needed, like up to this point. You could delete all. I could have deleted all that because I was adding an extra step, which there's only 3 steps. Because this step, the daylight sensor one changes to 6, and these change it to 9, 12, and 3, and then and this one will reset it to 6. So I was adding 6 o'clock, which wasn't needed because the daylight sensor does that by itself. Anyway, so basically I set it up, I sectioned it off by minutes, but I deleted the minute sign for 1 because it was in the way. But basically 2, I basically counted off the minutes because it's 20 minutes for a daylight cycle, 10 minutes for day, 10 minutes for night. So I built 7.5 minutes, which is the third command, which is right here. And I was building 10 minutes, like I said, it was an extra step that I didn't need. So basically 40 redstone, see how it's going? It's a button pulse, I'll explain that later, but it goes and it takes a minute to get here, and then another minute to get here, so 2 minutes, and then I did a half a minute, 30 seconds, so I went back around, and this row and this row is a half minute, so it's 40 plus 36, right, 36, so it's 76. So 76 redstone repeaters, delayed, all of them are delayed all the way. So, except a row, because I had I'll explain my problems later, but basically each row is delayed. Everything's delayed, so 76 repeaters is 30 seconds. So 152 is 40, 40, 40, that's 120, plus 32, 152. So it's a minute. So I counted off 2 minutes with 304, and then I counted off a half minute with extra 76, so 380. 380 delayed all the way, and then it activates. I'll talk about the activation part, but it sends a signal to keep going down the timer, and also a signal off to activate the clock. But then again, I counted off another 2.5 minutes to 5 minutes. And then I also sent an activation command, but I also kept with the timer. And then I did the same thing to 7.5 minutes and sent off a command. And I was going to do that, but I also, as I mentioned, I didn't need it. So I just sent a command. And so it's designed to send the last command of the day. And then eventually the redstone signal will be out completely, and then when the daylight sensor activates again at night, it'll send another command where I don't need this. Send a command down and to restart the process. So basically that's how it works. The redstone timer works, and so see as it's going to eventually hit the 7.5, right? This is 7.5. No, this is the 5-minute one. It's gonna hit the 5-minute one and set it to 12 o'clock, and then it'll hit the 7.5 one and set it to 3 o'clock. In the morning, of course, because I think it's nighttime. Anyway, so that's basically the redstone timer. Now I'm gonna explain this part real quick, the activation, and then I'll put it all together at the end. So the activation part. If you remember from my first video on redstone, I did a block swapper, which is over here. And it's inverted because I was messing around with daytime and stuff. Anyway, so basically, it sends this little, I don't know what to call this, but it's a, it basically turns a daylight sensor or a lever into a button. It sends a pulse signal instead of a continuous signal. So the same thing's going to happen here. The daylight sensor is going to activate, and it's going to send a signal down, and it's going to go through this. I'm just going to call it a gate because like logic gates, but it's its own thing. And it's going to turn a button into a signal, or a pulse, I mean a daylight sensor into a pulse signal, which is like a button, and it's just going to send a pulse like you saw before. It was only a couple, it wasn't continuous. But, so it's going to sig the signal, it's going to start the timer, but it's also going to go, this could be a lot, I could probably break this up for you guys, like better, like, make it more organized, but I'm just going to explain it by follow step by step. So basically it's going to go down, and it's going to activate 6 to turn on 6, and since it's already 3 o'clock, it's going to turn off 3 o'clock. Redstone block can go, redstone repeaters can go through blocks and activate this, and then the signal's done. It'll activate up there and up here 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock, and then as this timer goes down, blah blah blah, it goes all the way down to hits 2.5 minutes, and then it'll continue the timer, but it'll also come up here. I built a bridge because they were intersecting. You can't have any of them intersecting because they'll activate each other and blah blah blah. It'll mess it up. So you want this one to activate 6, and also since it activates 6, it also activates 9, because it's going to deactivate 6, activate 9, and then the redstone signal's done, except it keeps going on the timer until it hits, wait, did I get it backwards? No, I haven't gotten there yet. Okay. Then it hits 5 minutes, same thing, starts the timer, but it also comes around, and it goes under. I built the bridge so it intersects, and then it commands 9 to deactivate, and it commands 12 to activate, which really 12 doesn't really do anything because it switches from black to black, but it'll help a lot because it helps in this part of it, because you want it to be organized. You want to have it running through your head what's happening, and then the timer will go through its last step and then send a command to change it to 3 o'clock. So it's going to come back around. I just got it out of the way, went under this bridge, and then activated 3 o'clock and deactivated 12 o'clock. So basically that's how the activation works. And right now it says 12 o'clock, which is fairly accurate because the moon's pretty close to above us. Should eventually turn to 3 o'clock. And if you do the same things, you can connect these to those so they get the same signal. Actually, it'll say 12 o'clock. I'm going to hang around and explain my problems that I came up with so I can help you with them, just in case you have the same problems. So first problem is the daylight sensor. It sometimes is not the best thing. It'll mess with you, and it doesn't work sometimes. Sometimes you just either have to replace it down, cycle through day and night a couple times, or anything like that. And then one other problem was it was going a little too slow, like the redstone signal, the timer was going a little slow, so it wasn't changing to 3 until like the very end of the day, like sunset. So what I did was, I'll build a hole right here, I guess. What I did is each section after this command, I made one section not delayed at all. I think it was this one. This one is not delayed at all. It's after the command. And then I did one after 2.5. I did this one. And then after 5, I did the same thing to this one. So it sped it up a little bit so the cycle was a little faster, because it wasn't working earlier. And then Yeah, it should be 12, turn 12 pretty soon. And then basically that was all my problems, and so, and then I made a nice design around the clock, but that wasn't a problem. And then so, well, when it changed to 12, I'll end the video, but, actually we can go check it out. Does this one say 12? No, it says 9 still. Oh, there it goes. It says 12 o'clock. So basically, this is how you build the clock, and I came up with this all by myself. I didn't get it off YouTube or anything. And so that's basically it. Oh, one more problem also, actually. This will be a problem that you guys might run into if you're not building in a super flat world that you don't care what space you take up. But if you're building on like a creative world that you want like a clock tower, you're gonna want to compress this a lot. So you're gonna want it you're gonna want if you want a four-faced one, you're probably not gonna be very possible unless you're good with redstone neat with redstone circuits. But a two-faced clock is very possible, as you can see. All you have to do is just crunch it just a little bit and build it high, and then just have staircases running down the tower. Or you could have a clock go up or whatever, blah blah blah. Here's the tower, and then instead of having redstone underground, you could build a building like, you know, Big Ben in London. You can build like a building coming out, whatever, like outward, and then have all the redstone inside the building going up to the tower, like have a tower inside of a building. So basically that's it. So thanks guys for watching, and please like and subscribe.